see a hand! Someone is alive out there!
What? Where?
Where? Show me exactly! There! Starboard! 10 meters! Go!
He's barely moving, Captain. He's almost gone.
Cut the engine! Throw the line now! Or him on the rope! Don't you let him go! Grab my hand, now!
I'm trying!
Pull! I've got you! Easy now, easy. Let the water out. Breathe, breathe!
My wife. She.
What would you do if the person sleeping beside you was secretly planning your death? This is the shocking story of a billionaire who lost everything in one push: his trust, his safety, his empire, alone in the middle of the Atlantic at midnight. Watch closely, because sometimes the most dangerous enemy is the one closest to your heart. But before I begin this story, please like and subscribe to this channel. And please comment where you are watching from. To the world, he was the perfect symbol of success, a self-made billionaire who had conquered poverty. This is Nduka Obiora, who built his empire with relentless discipline, rising from the muddy fishing village of Aura into create a global business powerhouse stretching from Lagos to London and Dubai.
I have everything Lagos can offer, and yet this penthouse echoes like an empty cathedral.
His loneliness broken only by Janet Ngozika, his sharp-witted lawyer and closest confidant.
Nduka, the Dubai clause needs restructuring. If they breach, we're exposed. You need to slow down and read this before you sign anything.
Janet, if I had your caution and my ambition combined, I'd have bought Dubai by now.
Unaware that the greatest danger to Nduka would soon come not from business rivals, but from someone much closer. Yet, despite all he had built and acquired, his inner self seeks love, a helper, but when he finds it, his life may not be the same again.
Hello guys, haven't subscribed yet? Please subscribe now, hit the like button, and leave a comment to help.
Then, one evening at a glittering charity gala at Eagle Hotel, everything changed. That was the night Miriam Uzoma entered his life. Miriam Uzoma had learned early that beauty was a currency, and she had spent her entire adult life mastering its exchange rate.
There he is. Everything I've been waiting for is already looking at me.
Raised in a modest household in Oziza by a mother who cleaned houses and a father who disappeared before she turned 7, Miriam had watched wealth pass her like a convoy of black SUVs, close enough to feel the rush of air, never close enough to board. She appeared like a mystery wrapped in elegance, beautiful, poised, educated at the Sorbonne, and possessing a charm that could disarm even the most guarded man. Her laughter lit the room, and her intelligence matched Nduka's in ways few people ever had.
Who is she? I mean, this angle?
Nobody knows much about her. She arrived from Paris last month. Her name is Miriam.
Miriam.
For a man who had spent years building walls around his heart, Miriam seemed like the answer to a loneliness he had never admitted out loud. Hello fans, every mystery wrapped in love never ends well. But is it true that not all that glitters is gold? Follow me as we find out. Nduka fell quickly, faster than a man who had spent decades calculating risk should ever fall.
I've been told your name is Miriam. I'm Nduka. I don't usually introduce myself at these things.
Well, I'm glad you did. And yet here you are, Nduka Obiora, the man Forbes calls unstoppable. I was beginning to wonder if you were real. Nduka.
I've been the loneliest billionaire in Nigeria for 6 years. What terrifies me is going to bed still feeling that way.
Most powerful men I've met want a mirror. You actually want a conversation. That terrifies most women.
I'm glad I don't terrify you.
She asks too many questions about the wrong things and he doesn't even notice. I'm just scared she looks way too smart and manipulative.
Within 14 months, he asked her to marry him.
Miriam, you walked into my life and silenced every empty room. Will you be my wife?
Yes, Nduka. 1,000 times, yes.
The wedding was magnificent, the kind that filled society pages and whispered headlines.
Do you and Duca Obiora take this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife?
I do.
Yet, as Janet watched them exchange vows, a quiet unease flickered in her eyes, the look of someone who sensed that beneath the glittering surface of this perfect love story, something darker might already be unfolding. And in time, Duca would learn a devastating truth. Sometimes the greatest threat to a powerful man does not come from enemies in the boardroom, but from the person he trusts the most. Be careful who you trust. In the shadowed heart of their first year of marriage, Miriam moved like a velvet blade, charming, possessive.
From today, this penthouse reflects us both. You report to me first, then to Olga. Understood?
Yes, Ma.
Good. Now the real work begins.
Cunning, mysterious, and utterly consumed by dark intentions that no one could yet name. Beneath the flawless facade of a devoted wife, she had already begun weaving James Chidi into the very bloodstream of her clandestine empire.
The subsidiary transfers are clean, 4 layers deep. No name connects back to either of us.
Good. He signed the access documents yesterday. We're inside now, James.
Then the clock starts today.
James, her unseen puppeteer and willing shadow, operated through a Luxembourg-registered holding company buried beneath 4 layers of beneficial ownership that erased his name like smoke. It was through him that her real operations breathed, quiet, lethal, unstoppable. What the world saw was triumph. Miriam settled into Duca's life the way a predator slips into a new skin, reorganizing the penthouse with effortless elegance, hiring loyal staff who answered only to her, and gliding into his elite social circle with a warmth that charmed his associates and silenced his critics. She attended board dinners with the quiet authority of someone who had always belonged, asking razor-sharp questions about finance that left Duca visibly captivated. He began pulling her into his innermost strategic conversations, sharing documents and projections once reserved for blood oaths.
Walk me through the partnership structure. I want to understand everything you've built.
Every detail, every number, every name. If we land this European Development Bank partnership, the offshore logistics arm alone will be worth $900 million.
That's incredible, darling.
Love had done what his enemies never could. It made him careless. That is why we say love has blindfolded Duca, and by the time he will finally see the truth, betrayal will be standing at his door knocking. Come with me, let's find out. The infiltration was masterful, small increments disguised as marital intimacy. First came access to Duca's personal banking credentials, granted under the innocent guise of helping with household finances. For 8 flawless months she managed them impeccably, then the true transfers began. Quarterly movements slipped from subsidiary accounts into James's labyrinthine network, large enough to fuel an empire, small enough to evade every red flag. Next, she quietly restructured the philanthropic foundation's investment arm, sliding 2 of James's shell entities into place as approved counterparties. No one questioned it. Why would they? The wife was simply being helpful. Be careful of the good you see, as they say, beneath its beauty lies a dangerous hole. Meanwhile, she turned her attention to Duca's CFO, Opera Arthur, a debt-ridden man drowning in secret gambling losses. Miriam offered him small, sweet lifelines of financial relief in exchange for silence, and the occasional discreet cooperation.
All I ask is that when certain documents cross your desk, you look away, just once.
Miriam, I don't know. Madam Miriam, if Olga finds out.
He won't, he trusts you completely, which is exactly why you are so valuable to me. Stay calm and play by my rules, and I will reward you.
With surgical precision she curated Duca's entire social circle, gently easing out anyone who asked too many sharp questions, drawing closer those who saw only the perfect couple. The isolation grew around Duca like a vine, slow, tender, almost loving, until he was surrounded only by voices that echoed her will. When all around you smiles in affirmation, be sure the sycophants are building up a threat that will sink you. Be watchful. Duca noticed none of it. He was expanding Dubai operations, chasing a landmark offshore logistics contract, and drowning happily in the illusion of a perfect marriage. Love had blinded him. And somewhere in the shadows, Miriam smiled, possessive, cunning, mysterious, knowing that every document he now shared, every password he surrendered, every associate he trusted, was one more thread feeding James Chidi's machine. The thread was already closed. The question was only how long before the teeth snapped shut. What was meant to be a celebration of love became the stage for the most chilling betrayal of Nduka Obiora's life. In the glittering facade of their marriage, Miriam unveiled her most audacious deception yet, a seemingly romantic private yacht voyage, framed as a 10th anniversary tribute to the founding of Nduka's first company.
10 years since you built your first company. I want to celebrate the man who built it all. Just the ocean. And 4 days of nothing but love.
Miriam, I don't know what I did to deserve you.
You have no idea, my love. You're a great guy.
She presented it with breathtaking tenderness, a 4-day escape along the Atlantic coast from Lagos to Calabar, just the two of them plus a minimal crew of 4. No entourage, no bodyguards, no prying eyes. Nduka, ever the romantic at heart, had poured himself into the details, curating exquisite menus, selecting rare wines with Janet's quiet input, even arranging a string quartet for a final moonlit evening on deck. It was meant to be renewal, a bourgeois love rediscovered amid the endless sea, a deliberate pause to remember the why behind his empire. Hello fans, sometimes it's good to take a break and enjoy the little things of life around us, but be careful, sometimes it might also lead to what we never anticipated, as we are about to see. But Miriam had been waiting for exactly this. 3 weeks earlier, in a shadowed Lekki apartment, she and James Chidi had pored over satellite maps and tidal charts like generals planning a coup. James's voice had been cold steel. The impending partnership with European development banks would invite scrutiny that could unravel their entire clandestine network. The cleanest cut, he insisted, was to eliminate the source itself. Miriam had listened without flinching, a faint flicker, something close to guilt, quickly snuffed out. The yacht wasn't romance, it was execution.
Hello guys, haven't subscribed yet? Please subscribe now, hit the like button, and leave a comment to help.
The vessel itself was magnificent, a floating palace of polished teak and gleaming chrome that sliced through the waves like a predator in silk. Its multi-deck silhouette glowed against the night sky, luxurious lounges bathed in soft amber light, expansive sun decks framed by infinity rails, and opulent cabins that whispered wealth at every turn. By day it shimmered under the sun, by night it became a beacon of isolated intimacy, far from rescue or radar. The first days unfolded in calculated perfection. Miriam played the devoted wife flawlessly, sun-drenched laughter, whispered memories, candlelit dinners where she poured his wine with loving hands. Nduka melted into it, his gut dissolving like sea mist. Love, they say, intoxicates, and when it does, it kills. Be ready for the downfall as it comes. There was only one solution. Nduka had to vanish. On the third night of the voyage, long after midnight, the ocean stretched into a black, endless void beneath a moonless sky. The crew had retired below deck, and the yacht drifted quietly through the dark Atlantic waters. Miriam spent the evening performing the role of a loving wife with terrifying perfection, pouring Nduka's wine, reminiscing about their early romance, drawing laughter and tenderness from him until his guard completely dissolved. At the stern of the yacht, Nduka stood alone for a moment, breathing in the salt air, his heart calm in a way it had not been for years. He never heard her approach. Then it happened. With a single deliberate motion, cold, controlled, and rehearsed, Miriam drove both palms into his back. The shove was not frantic or emotional. It was calculated, brutally precise. Nduka's wine glass shattered against the railing as his body pitched forward into the darkness. The Atlantic swallowed him instantly. How do we call this love? Some say this is calculated murder disguised as love. What do you call this? Let's find out. The Atlantic did not feel like water. It felt like liquid iron, crushing, brutal, and freezing. The moment Nduka Obiora surfaced, the shock ripped the air from his lungs. Waves slammed into his face, forcing bitter salt down his throat as he fought to breathe. Behind him, the yacht, a glowing palace of mahogany and golden lights, was already drifting away into the darkness. Miriam, he tried to shout. The ocean swallowed the word. Another wave rolled over him, burning his eyes with salt. Through the blur, one memory burned sharply in his mind, Miriam's hands on his back. Firm. Deliberate. There had been no hesitation in the push. She hadn't slipped. She had meant it. His tailored suit, once a symbol of power and prestige, now clung to him like a soaked burial cloth. Each movement felt impossibly heavy. Every kick dragged through the water as if he were trying to swim through wet cement. Behind him, the yacht lights continued shrinking, a fading constellation of betrayal, until the darkness swallowed them completely. Now there was only the sea. A hammered sheet of endless black. Then his hand struck something solid. Instinct exploded through him. Nduka grabbed at it desperately, his fingers scraping against rough wood. It was a jagged piece of debris, perhaps a broken crate or a fragment of railing shattered during his fall. He clawed at it, ripping the splintered plank until his fingernails tore and blood mixed with the salt water. He pulled himself against the wood, clinging to it as violent shivers tore through his body. Each swell lifted him just enough to search the horizon, hoping the yacht might turn back. But the engine's distant hum slowly disappeared. The sea remained empty. Beneath him stretched an endless dark void. Now and then something brushed his legs, a fish, a current, or perhaps his imagination, and a primal fear gripped him. Down here he was no billionaire, no empire builder. He was prey. Life, they say, is unpredictable. Be ready to grasp whatever comes your way, as Nduka is about to.
Oh no, she planned it. The wine, the music, the voyage. I was blindfolded in love.
The realization sent a surge of anger through his frozen body. Nduka tightened his grip on the wood.
I built a company from nothing. From nothing. I am not dying in the middle of nobody's ocean. I am not dying here.
The thought hollowed him.
The village in Aura, the mud, the empty stomach, I survived that. I will survive this.
Yet something darker stirred beneath the despair. But who would have believed that the same hand that promised him love would push him to his death? That's why love, they say, is a two-edged sword. On the yacht, Miriam stood quietly at the stern, staring into the darkness where Nduka had vanished. Then she turned calmly and walked to the bridge.
He slipped. I tried trapping the railing. Oh God, Nduka!
Mayday, mayday,
Mayday,
mayday, man overboard, Atlantic coordinates. By the time they search, there will be nothing to find.
Her grief looked devastatingly real. Her performance was flawless. But somewhere in the vast Atlantic, the man she believed dead was still alive, clinging to a piece of wood and fighting the ocean. The ocean had drained almost everything from him. His eyes kept closing. Each time they did, the darkness pulled harder. Far away, somewhere beyond the thick black horizon, the faint growl of an engine cut through the night. At first, Nduka thought he was imagining it. Sometimes it's good we imagine good things to come our way. Nduka's imagination gave him hope that he can still live, but what if his mind is playing tricks on him? Let's find out. The mind plays tricks when the body begins to surrender. But the sound came again, low, mechanical, steady. A distant thudding vibration carried across the water. A fishing trawler. The vessel Journey of Peace was returning from a long night haul, its rust-streaked hull pushing slowly through the Atlantic swells. On the deck, two fishermen worked under dim yellow lamps, sorting nets heavy with croaker and barracuda. One of them, a lean young deckhand named Oim, paused suddenly. He squinted toward the dark water off the starboard side.
Captain, there's someone in the water. I see a hand. Someone is alive out there.
At first there was nothing but shifting shadows. Then, for just a second, something moved. A shape rose on the crest of a wave. Not wood. Not debris. A hand. Oim's heart jumped into his throat.
Captain, there's someone in the water. I see a hand. Someone is alive out there.
What? Where?
The captain, Rose, a fisherwoman known along the coast for her fierce determination, spun around immediately. Years at sea had trained her instincts well enough to recognize panic when she heard it. Where?
Where? Show me exactly. There! Starboard 10 meters! Go!
Another wave lifted the dark shape again. This time they all saw it. A human body clinging weakly to a floating plank. For a split second the deck fell silent.
Where? Show me exactly. There! And a hand pointing up for help.
He's barely moving, Captain. He's almost gone. Then we move for him. Pull! Oh, help!
There, barely 10 meters away, floated a man who looked more ghost than human, pale, shaking, half-conscious, drifting between life and death. Nduka barely heard the shouting. The bright light stabbed painfully into his eyes. For a moment he thought he had finally died and the heavens had opened. But then he heard voices. Real voices. Hold on. We see you. A rope splashed beside him. Nduka tried to move his hands, but his arms barely obeyed him. The plank slipped. For one terrifying second his body began to sink.
Cut the engine! Throw the line now! Oyim on the rope! Don't you let him go! Grab my hand, now!
I'm trying!
Pull! I've got you!
With a heaving effort, they dragged Nduka's limp body over the rail and onto the wet deck. He collapsed there, coughing violently as seawater poured from his lungs.
Easy now, easy! Let the water out! Breathe! Breathe!
Rose stared down at the half-frozen stranger. She knelt beside him, pressing rough hands against Nduka's shoulders. Nduka tried to speak. Only one word came out, broken and trembling.
My wife! My wife! My wife,
He's alive. Get the blankets, now.
His body gave up the fight then, slipping into darkness. But for the first time since he had fallen into the ocean, the sea no longer had him. Hello guys, this story teaches us important lessons not just about wealth or betrayal, they're about the choices we make and the people we
I've been
trust.
told your name is Miriam.
Gratitude
I'm
is
Nduka.
very important. If someone sacrifices for you, appreciate them. Don't use them and throw them away. Lies will always be exposed. Do you think Miriam truly loved Nduka at any point, or was everything just a carefully planned lie from the very beginning? Tell us what you think in the comments and do well to hit the subscription button and turn on the notification bell for our subsequent stories. Watch out for part 2.
Hello guys, I hope you enjoyed our stories. Please hit the like button, leave a comment below and subscribe to our channel.